today I'm going to have a conversation with you that I've been terrified to talk about. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mastering Post-Production Sound. My name is Joel. I am so glad you're here today with me, friend. I have tried to have this conversation for well over a year. My name is Joel. My last name is Catalan. And growing up my whole entire life, saying my last name was very difficult for people. It started really in middle school for me, junior high school. I was new to the community, to the seventh grade there, and I came in, and it just happened to be, I did like sports because I grew up playing Little League Baseball. When I was enrolled in my middle school, the physical education class, the PE class, the teacher, when they read off the name, read my last name wrong because I did not know, but it was misspelled. It was spelled Catalan. So they said Catalan. And that's not my last name. My last name is Catalan. I started early on to have sort of this fear of hearing my name said out loud. And that really was because people said it incorrectly. I'll tell you, being a seventh grade student in a new school, there weren't many Latinos there, or African American kids, or Asian American kids. There was a lot of white kids. And so I started to get really self-conscious about my last name. If I go even further, I go back to elementary school. I didn't realize it at the time, but now as I look back, I got bullied about my last name. I got teased. And some kids used to say, "Cut the lawn. Hey man, are you going to come cut my lawn? I need my lawn cut. My parents need my lawn cut." And so early on, I was made to feel that something was different, something was wrong with me because I had a last name that was associated with gardening, right? And that, if you're Mexican American, you're just known as a gardener. And that was ingrained in my brain. And I didn't know it, and when I got to junior high, I started to feel even more because people couldn't pronounce my name. I struggled with that throughout high school and growing up. And so it was really important to me to, anytime I had the opportunity, say my name and to be proud about it. Catalan. My name is Joel Catalan, right? And the way this ties into this conversation is working in post-production sound and working in Hollywood. I'm just going to tell you straight up. Let's be honest with each other. There are a lot of white folks in the business. It's just a matter of fact, right? I'm not trying to I don't want to offend anybody. I'm not trying to get political or anything. I'm just stating fact. So when I began my journey to navigate this industry, there were not a lot of people that looked like me. This color skin, this brown skin, I didn't see a lot of it. And so oftentimes, I kept my mouth shut. I was just quiet and I observed. And as I navigated the industry, there were times when that little inner child, little Joel, would get triggered from the old memories of people not being able to say my name right, kids making fun of me. Little did I know that just growing up and experiencing racism, and I'm just saying that because it's really difficult for me to say, oh no, I've never experienced racism because that's not something that we deal with. But no, I was denying the fact that no, actually, people are racist to me too, and I've experienced racism. And so as we are in now September, which, has been for a long time set aside to remember Hispanic heritage, Latino heritage, and look, you can call me whatever, okay? You can call me Latinx, you can call me Latino, you can call me Hispanic, Mexican, it doesn't matter to me, But coming from a family that had, I would say traditional Hispanic values, but just the Hispanic culture, right? It was kind of a culture shock for me when I started experiencing these acts of racism. And as I go back to the conversation about post-production sound, we talk about, that Hollywood, I mean, we all remember the time, the Oscars so white, Hollywood so white, where is the recognition for the diversity, for, the different races? Is it was just white. And I'm telling you right now, I love you no matter what color of skin you are. But in the industry that has been for a very long time known to be ran by white males, it was very difficult as I was navigating the industry to not feel like I did not belong because I didn't look like everybody else. I'll never forget one of the days where, we like to go out to lunch for, if anybody in post-production sound knows, when you're mixing a film or a TV show, anything, lunch, it's always about the food, right? But I remember, it's very vivid. I was sitting in a sushi restaurant, and I remember we're having lunch here with, my colleagues who were all white. And so I remember sitting in the restaurant and being like, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I am the only brown person in this restaurant who is not a busboy. And it just hit me. I was like, wow. Talk about opportunity. I realized right then that in this restaurant, there were the only people that had any resemblance of my skin tone were bussing tables. And so I started to really kind of, at that point moving forward, want to embrace the opportunity that I have. I have a very unique opportunity being a Latino, being a Hispanic, Mexican-American, to not only work hard every day for my career, but to work hard every day to pave the road for young boys and girls who look like I do, who have the same skin color as I do, to one day have a dream to be part of this industry. See, growing up, I never knew anything about sound. I didn't know that you could make a living mixing sounds, editing sounds, writing music, doing anything for a film. I never thought I would be able to do this as a kid. And so I know that there are a lot of young brown boys and girls who look at life and never think that working in post-production sound is an option. I started to think about my place in this industry differently. There has been a lot of work that has been done to try to bring diversity to productions, whether it was film productions or TV productions. And, recently we've seen the release of DC's Blue Beetle be, one of the first Latin, superhero shows, or not shows, films, and the whole cast. And it was if you saw the movie, it was rich with culture, with Hispanic culture. And one of the things that kind of, saddened me, I was like, but too bad the post-production sound wasn't Latino, right? And I think about Wednesday as well. It was important for Netflix to have a Latino casting. But I feel like, and this is where, it could be a little, I don't want to get controversial, but it feels like we care about diversity to a certain point. It may be just above the line, like who we put on the camera, who's in front of the camera. Let's make sure. Well, we want to make sure there's a Latin director and Latin stars, and yeah, maybe a Latin composer. But if we get into these crafts, to the editing, to the picture editing, to the sound editing, the sound mixing, we'll kind of go with whoever we've been going with forever. I had a conversation back when Threads launched, right? It seemed like in the beginning, Threads, you could really just talk to anybody, right? It was pretty cool. But I had a conversation with an icon in our industry. It was none other than sound design director at Skywalker Sound, Randy Tom. And I remember that Randy had a post. Rather, he was interviewed. He was interviewed for the one of the articles in our guilds. I think it was for part of Motion Pictures Editors Guild. Actually, here it is now, directly from the interview. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fellow guild members? Some words of encouragement? And Randy goes on to say, one thing we as a guild need to do is to make our profession more diverse, racially and in terms of gender. One of the things that prevents us from making progress in this effort is the idea, the myth, that only the most highly qualified applicants should be hired for any job. First, it has never been the case that the most highly qualified person was always going to be the person who got the job. Most often, it has been the most highly qualified person who is also similar to or previously known to the person doing the hiring. Same race, gender, background, etc. Second, given the current lack of diversity among those doing the hiring and the lack of diversity in the pool of job applicants, the likelihood that the most qualified person for the job is going to be a white male is extremely high. So the lack of diversity is self-perpetuating. I encourage anyone doing hiring to not always do the lazy thing and the safest thing, which is to automatically hire someone with the most impressive resume who you also happen to click with personally. Look deeper for potential in job applicants, not just obvious qualifications. That's what Walter Murch did when he hired me. I was far from the most qualified person for the job. If you do look deeper and search more widely, I guarantee that there will be more women and more people of color out there who have the potential to succeed way beyond what their resumes might suggest. Gosh, I remember reading that article a couple years ago, and it just resonated with me because as a Latino in this industry, time after time after time, I find myself, I usually am the only person of color on a sound team. I think the industry is trying to do a better job of getting people of color on these gigs. But I think it's difficult, right? Because I think there are two conversations. There's a conversation like, oh, okay, we're just going to hire somebody because we need to meet the quota of this diversity, clause, or this movement of being inclusive. And then you have folks in this camp who say, well, but are they good at what they do? So are we just hiring them because you're trying to, check the box, or are you hiring them because they actually can get the job done? Wherever you land on that conversation, the fact still remains there's not a lot of people that look like me on mixed stages. So I find that it is the distinct privilege to step into this purpose and destiny, the role that I have right now in the industry. What are we going to do for below the line positions to be more inclusive? Like, I know they're doing that at the top, but how do we make that happen at the bottom? How do we not always hire the same sound supervisors and re-recording mixers, sound crews for these big shows? When are we going to give the opportunity to the minorities? That's a question. I wonder about that sometimes, because I will tell you, and I'm not trying to be cocky or confident, but I will say with 100%, I believe I can sit down in the mixed chair with anybody and compete. And in the sense, I don't have any competition, because when I embrace the concept that I am uniquely gifted and talented, exactly who I am, with my strength, I bring to every job I work on. And so I have complete confidence in my ability to sit there. So it's not an ability thing. We need more opportunities for people that look like us with the same skin color to get those chances. So I haven't wanted to talk about this in a long time, or rather, I've tried to. It's been scary, because as a Latino in this industry, I fear speaking out about it because of the backlash. Because they're like, oh yeah, well he just wants, he just wants people to feel sorry for him and to get the jobs. No, it's not about that, right? It's about stepping into this role, doing excellent work. And that's the thing that I've settled on. I'm here for a reason in this industry. I'm here on purpose. It's, my destiny. And so what am I going to do with it? And I want to believe that I have worked hard to get where I'm at, and I will continue to work hard so that every single time I sit in the mixed chair, the work that comes out of me is excellent. So that no one can ever say, oh, well, yeah, we hired Joel because he's a Latino and they need us to have Latinos and be, representative of all cultures and people. But he's not that good. No, I never want that to be an issue. This is why I work really hard at my craft. And this is why I believe I belong here. So you may be watching this and, you may be like me, where if you were in a room full of Hollywood post-production people, you would be the only other skin color. And I want you to know that you do belong. You belong here, and that you're uniquely gifted and talented, and that you're going to bring those unique gifts and talents to your productions, to your projects, and you're going to bring that excellence too. As we embrace Hispanic Heritage Month, I want to step into this, and I want to lean into this conversation a little bit, because I'm about bringing compassion and love, kindness and generosity to this industry. We need to be better. Hollywood, we need to be better. Post-production, sound industry, we need to be better. We need to continue to bring kindness, tolerance, acceptance, generosity, empathy to all that we do. Because when we are kind and loving, we bring compassion and empathy to our craft, our work shines. Our creativity can flourish. It can grow wings and fly. Sky's the limit. So this one was a tough one to talk about, just because it just comes with so much fears. And even if somebody's watching this or someone's listening to this on podcasts and be like, oh, this guy Joel, blah, blah, blah. Well, all I have to say is I'm just here to share my own experiences in this industry, and that is my truth. What I've shared is my truth. It has been difficult, and it started early on. And so we never know what people are going through. As we go to our jobs, as we go to our workplaces, let's be compassionate to our coworkers, because they may be going through something. But at the same time, let's be tolerant of each other. The world needs love. The world needs kindness and compassion. And how better would this industry be with more of it. So let's be the change we want to see in this industry. Thanks for checking out this episode of Mastering Post-Production Sound. Be sure to click that subscribe button. Make sure that you have that bell notification thing on so you don't miss any episodes. And thanks for having this conversation. And thanks for holding space for this conversation. If you have any thoughts or comments, please make sure you click down there and leave a comment below. But we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for being with me, friend. Take care.